So my name is Sean Burke, and my colleagues are,
I'm Juan.
And I'm Zainab.
and we are Team Kaepernick. We're doing our presentation on Nike. So let's just start out with.
You have to press the got it button on the computer.
Oh, please. Okay, yes. So our purpose. Sorry about that. So gender inequality has kind of been a problem like all throughout human history, basically. So it still exists today, and one of the examples of it existing today is at Nike, actually. So our purpose is basically to show you guys how gender inequality has like manifested at Nike and how to fix this problem, hopefully. How do I keep doing that?
Are you hitting the back?
Is it the back button? Oh, shit.
That should work.
Okay, jeez, okay. All right, and Juan.
So just a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start off with a little bit of background and a synopsis on the allegations of gender inequality in Nike in the workplace. And then we're going to go over an analysis of the materials we have supporting these allegations. And then finally we're going to conclude and come in with some recommendations of our own. I'll pass it to Zainab to go over some background.
Hi. As a background of Nike is an American corporation that engaged in design, development, and worldwide marketing of footwear, apparels, equipments, accessories, and services. It was formed in 1964 by two guys, Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight. It became the world's largest supplier of athletic wear, and it's valued at over $118 billion. Their mission statement is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. In other words, their goal is to inspire you, whether you are an NFL quarterback or you just want to wear Nike's gear as you go to do your daily errands. And now I'll pass it to Juan. Oh, no, Sean.
So the first secondary research thing we did was look at the lawsuit. So we actually, this is a picture of the actual document. So it's four plaintiffs suing Nike, and they're all female, and they're basically suing under the Oregon Equal Pay Act. So they're claiming that women are systematically paid less, promoted less. There's unreported or not investigated sexual harassment, and that the overall culture of Nike is just not very hot or not very welcoming for females. So yeah, they show throughout the case that they do get paid less, and they are not taken up for promotions as often. And there's been several firings since this lawsuit over sexual harassment allegations from top executives at Nike. Yeah.
Okay, so the second part of our secondary research, we looked at different articles and we found many with allegations filled against Nike for inequality in the workplace. In 2018, a group of women actually sent out a survey to Nike employees asking if they've ever felt sexually harassed or discriminated against, and a majority of the surveys came back saying that they did feel discriminated against as women. So these two articles from Vox and Huffington Post, mainly they highlighted some of Nike's responses to the allegations. Nike hiked the pay for over 7,000 employees in response to the pay wage gap. This will affect about 10% of their employees worldwide. And they publicly promised that they will eventually have meetings addressing gender inequality, management training programs to reflect goals and equal pay for workplace discrimination. So another article we also found was at the New York Times. It highlighted kind of like a revolt that women had. everyone's saying they're fed up with the way Nike treats women. They're kind of very exclusive with their top managerial positions when it comes to like promotions and executive positions. And this attention to gender inequality has actually led over 100 large companies to, I guess, kind of respond and publicly promise that they're going to do something about the wage gap. These are like companies like MasterCard, Target, Gap. They all said that they're going to have pay wage increases for women. So I'll pass it over to Zainab to talk about it.
Part of our secondary research was that we looked of online reviews on Glassdoor for previous or current employees at Nike's. And I came up with this comment. The woman who did this, she named the comment Boys Club, and she called it that because men were running up the place and women were not appreciated at all. She started her comment by saying, "This is not a company to involve with you if you are a woman regardless of your race or experience." And she also mentioned that women were desperate to take higher positions there to speak up about what was actually happening there. And she ended up by saying and giving advice that women should not work there unless they were like getting high positions. And now I will give it back to Juan.
So a little bit about our findings. We found a clear trend that there's a systematic bias towards women within Nike's corporate offices. This systematic bias affects women in many ways. First being financially, because they can't get any raises. Socially, because they're very not often promoted. And mentally, because they overwhelmingly feel discriminated against. So I'd like to pass off to Sean or to Zainab for our recommendations.
Okay, so for our recommendations, we had like 4 suggestions or recommendations. The first one was to provide gender equality training, and this type of training gives the people an idea of identify the gender equality in workplace and define the gender equality objectives. And also, it gives an idea of how to take account of gender when planning and implementing policies, monitor progress, and finally evaluate programs from gender perspectives. Also, they should enforce stricter punishments for sexist behavior. There are a lot of remedies and penalties for sex discrimination at the workplace. The max penalty in the U.S. for lawsuits protections is $63,000 bare violation for a corporation and a $12,000 bare violation for individual. Also, we said that they should drive skills of development and leadership equally, and also increase paid maternity leave. Because moms in the U.S. still face 0 maternity leave, but in other rich countries, they guarantee more than a year of paid maternity leave. And now, to conclude our presentation, Sean's going to talk about that.
All right. So Nike is obviously like one of the biggest companies in the world. It has massive influence everywhere. So it just goes to show you that this can happen really anywhere. And the way that they deal with it is pretty important to how other companies will deal with it, etc. So yeah, after women spoke up about what they were experiencing, it revealed that there were gender equality issues there. And after reviewing all the sources, we determined this to be a legitimate statement. And yeah, so we recommend that they train, enforce, and cultivate those behaviors that Zana talked about earlier. Any questions? Yes.
So as you